we got live pictures from the Vatican. As if today wasn't dramatic enough, white smoke is rising from the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. As you can see there, the immense crowds, they are waving their flags in jubilation because that means the Cardinals have successfully elected a new Pope, and a two-thirds majority was required, and it took just 2 days to decide. As you can see, people there at Vatican City weeping with delight, as if today can get dramatic enough on the political front and the trade deal front. White smoke is rising from the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, which means, of course, the Cardinals have now successfully elected a new Pope. The crowds there celebrating as if a World Cup final goal had gone in. Hundreds and hundreds of media amassed jubilant scenes in the Vatican City there at St. Peter's Square. In a very, very short period of time, it has to be said, this process can drag on for months. In fact, back in the 1800s, I believe, it dragged on for years. The bells there we can see ringing out in jubilation at the Vatican City. White smoke is rising. You can hear the crowds. Let's just tune in. Hear the crowds. They are celebrating in their masses at the Vatican City. If you're joining us on GBNews, you can see live picture there. Look at that. That's the Vatican City. White smoke pouring out of that world-famous historic chimney. That, of course, can mean only one thing. That is, a new pope has been successfully elected. The Vatican, that process has been going on now for a couple of days. The Cardinals have successfully elected a new pope. A two-thirds majority was required. It took just 2 days. Look at that white smoke billowing out. The crowds are jubilant. The bells are ringing out, and we are being told we can expect the new pontiff to appear on the balcony there, we believe, as soon as within the next 1 hour. Within the next hour, the new pontiff, Viva il Papa, a sign being held aloft says there. We can expect the Pope to emerge, we've been told, within the hour. You can see the flags from all around the world. Catholics gather. Let's listen in again to these historic, jubilant sights and sounds. If you're joining us now, historic sights, white smoke pouring from that world-famous historic chimney at the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. That can only mean one thing, of course, and that is Cardinals have successfully elected a new Pope. A 2/3 majority was required, and it took a very sprightly, it has to be said, just 2 days to make this decision. We're hearing reports that the new pontiff is expected to appear on that balcony there at the Sistine Chapel within the hour. Who will the new pontiff be? There's been a huge amount of speculation about the direction of the Catholic Church itself. Will it return to its more conservative, core Catholic roots? Will it go in a more liberal direction? We're waiting to see that. The new Pope is now being led, we believe, to a small room next to the Sistine Chapel, where he will put on the white papal robes that mark, of course, the beginning stage of the next part of this ceremony. And the senior cardinal will soon confirm the decision with the words Habemus Papam, and that, of course, is Latin for "we have a Pope," and introduce the new pontiff by his chosen papal name. So inside there, we are expecting that ceremony to continue. The Pope expected to emerge within the next hour. Let's go back now and listen in to these truly historic sights and sounds. And the Pope is being led, we now believe, to a small room next to the Sistine Chapel, where he'll put on the white papal robes for the first time, preparing for that first public appearance. We're expecting that to happen within the hour, and the senior cardinal will soon confirm the decision with the words Habemus Papam, Latin for "we have a Pope," and introduce the new pontiff by his chosen papal name. You can see there tourists, Catholics, gathered from around the world, Korean flags, Brazilian flags, German flags, Ukrainian flags, and of course, Italian flags, German flags. People from all around the world have gathered for this truly historic moment. Very, very quick decision. 2 days. This took only 2 days. The Greek flag there, only 2 days this process took. And as we understand, the new Pope being dressed, there is that historic white smoke billowing out of that chimney. We've had a beady eye on that now for a couple of days. There are followers in the square there. Nuns we saw a short while ago weeping with happiness, others celebrating in a manner we'd normally accustom with a football crowd. Absolute scenes of delight there at the Vatican, flags waving as we anticipate the new pontiff will emerge within the next hour. And this, of course, comes after 133 cardinal electors sent up that smoke signal as that voting process got underway. We've seen black smoke after black smoke come out. A lot of people thought this process would go on perhaps for much longer. A 2/3 majority was required to elect a successor, of course, to the late Pope Francis. And now the conversation will turn to the direction, the theological, the philosophical, the emotional, the spiritual, the existential, beg your pardon, direction of the Catholic Church. Will it return to a more conservative Catholic direction, or will it go in the direction of Pope Francis, who was seen as much more of a modernizer, much more liberal outlook? Who will the Pope be? A lot of talk about, could the next Pope be black? Not for the sake of him being black, but because the Pope, the Black Pope candidate, very, very conservative, because of course the conservative church is expanding greatly in Africa, in South America, and that is seen perhaps as a spiritual direction of travel. Just to repeat, if you are joining us, white smoke there is rising from the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, which means that cardinals have successfully elected a new pope. A 2/3 majority was required, And to the great surprise of many watching, it took just 2 days to decide. I believe that's one of the shortest selection processes in history. White smoke came out just a few minutes ago. The bells are ringing out in a historic manner. The crowd's jubilant. This news is echoing around the world as we speak. Who will come out? We understand the successor has now been taken into a side room just off the main chamber, where for the first time the next pontiff will be dressed in those papal robes, part of the ceremony, of course, of introducing him publicly to the world for the first time.